7 things that I spend money on without feeling guilty anymore. So for so many years, I felt really guilty when it came to spending money on myself. In fact, I would torture myself, I would question myself, and then I would sometimes even punish myself for spending money on me. It was like a huge problem. And of course, I'm a financial planner. I'm supposed to be telling people, to be wise with their money, to save it, to pay off debt, to invest it in the future. So for me, this was really hard. And I would constantly think that every dollar that I earned had to go towards, paying off the home, had to be going towards emergency money or my superannuation, that I wasn't allowed to actually enjoy my money without feeling guilty or ashamed or even embarrassed. But fortunately, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that there are some things that actually are an investment, but an investment in my own sense of happiness and well-being. And that I'm worthy of them and I deserve them, and they actually add value to my life. So I should keep them, but of course always in a responsible way. So I want to share with you exactly what these things are. Hopefully you'll relate to them, but I'm also going to show you and share with you how I managed to squeeze them in my budget. So the first is self-care. So I love to get my nails done. I always get biab once a month, and I get my hair done at a really nice hairdresser. Now, I don't know why, but I used to get my hair cut in at a really sort of budget-friendly place, and I would really scrimp and save. But it wasn't until I learned that what a good haircut can do to enhance naturally your face shape, your skin tone, and how actually a really good haircut can actually last a really long time. So whilst it may cost you more to get one haircut, that haircut can last 6 months, sometimes even a year. So I'm kind of glad that I learned about that investment. And when it comes to my nails, for me, sitting still for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half to get my nails done with ADHD is really hard. But once my nails are done, I feel human again. I feel kind of proud of myself, and I feel like I just look a little bit more, put together, even though there might be sort of chaos going on behind the scenes. And so what I do is I always try and get a really natural color so that the biab nail will last sometimes just over a month, which is quite incredible. But for me, this is just such a great investment. And when it comes to hair color, I've had to learn this an expensive way. So as you guys may notice, my hair color is actually quite different now. It's a lot darker. And I had to shift away from being bleach blonde with all the peroxide because it was doing so much damage to my hair. It was literally snapping off. So in doing so, and learning also of course about the colors and the tones when it comes to hair and skin, I have really appreciated being able to spend money on my hair and actually go back to something that's more healthy, more natural, even if that meant spending money. I feel so much better about myself, and I feel a lot more confidence. This is not about spending money on beauty and materialistic things, but actually making myself feel confident. So when I leave the house at the beginning of the day, the last thing I think about what I look like, because I feel confident about the way that I look. The second thing that I spend money on that I don't feel guilty about anymore is therapy. I used to feel like I was such a plague and drain on our family's financial budget because I had to have therapy, for so many years. I saw, a psychologist, for I think 10 or 11 years. Oh, hi, Pablo. My God. All right, sit down. Whoa, you are not good for the budget. And I even did a pretty expensive but very well worth trauma course with Jamie Ryder, which I've made a YouTube video, which I will link in my podcast notes. You're about to knock my stand over, Pablo. Whoa. This is the chaos, don't mind me, that I'm talking about that goes on behind the scenes. Anyway, I used to feel so guilty that, it would cost so much, and therapy in Australia is expensive, but, doing the Jamie Ryder course, wow, Pablo, here. So whilst the Jamie Ryder course was an expensive investment, it was so, oh my goodness, it was so worthwhile because it really did get to the heart of the problem. And because I invested in it, I did the course, I did all the very uncomfortable, deep work within myself. I haven't needed to have, maybe I should send Pablo to therapy. or even at least a dog trainer. But doing this, it actually really helped me. It healed me, and I was able to sort of get on with my life and get on with my day, and also learn the important things that I needed to be able to grow and I guess heal from the pain. But no one should ever think that they are a drain when it comes to investing in therapy. And when I say therapy can be so many different things. It can be obviously seeing a psychiatrist, seeing a psychologist, seeing a counselor, doing an online course. And of course, the simple little things like going and getting a massage. These are all investments within yourself, within your mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. Oh my gosh, this doesn't stop this dog. All right, number 3, I promise to speed this up a little bit because Pablo is obviously being a massive distraction, and that is good bed linen. Again, I used to think that you had to hold on to bed sheets until they were literally threadbare. Then I was talking one day to a girlfriend and she was horrified, and she said to me, haven't you ever had nice bed linen? And I was like, no, and she was shocked. Anyway, she convinced me to go and get some really nice quality bed linen, and I have never looked back since. And the cool thing is bed linen actually isn't really that expensive. Like, I'm a member of Adair's Linen Club. It is so good, and they have the most amazing sales, and they have the most beautiful bed linen, like with so many different like fabrics, so many different textures, but also they really do understand the difference in sleeps, whether you're a cold sleeper or a warm sleeper, and what you actually need to get a really good night's sleep. And now I'm actually really proud of what my bed looks like, especially when it's made, and like how it just kind of sets the energy of a bedroom. So this was a big shift for me. All right, number 4, and that is quality food. All right, you're probably going to assume that I'm going to say healthy food here. Actually, I'm not. All right, I am a massive sweet tooth. It's a really big problem for me. But what I have realized, even though it costs more, is good quality chocolate. I mean, I could inhale a family-sized block of like Cadbury's fruit and nut, but that's obviously not very good. And obviously the ingredients that go into these like mainstream chocolate bars aren't even really chocolate anymore. But if I go and buy like a beautiful, chocolate bar, or I pop into say somewhere like Hague's or Cocoa and Bean and get like just something really small and really simple, it is so much more satisfying. It gets rid of that, chocolate craving instantly, and kind of feels like that adequate sufficiency where you're like, right, okay, I nipped that in the bud, I feel great now and I can get on with my day. And I have to say, like, even shopping at places like Harris Farm, which is sometimes a little bit more expensive, but even just walking around and being in Harris Farm, I feel so much more inspired to cook more. I hate cooking, so that says a lot, but also to make healthier, more nutritious meals, and even, dare I say, to experiment a little bit more when it comes to cooking. So definitely focusing on quality rather than quantity. Number 5, and I think a lot of people would be the same like this, that is travel and experiences with my family, with the kids, with Tom. Like, I don't like going away without my kids. Yes, it's probably an element of separation anxiety, but I don't care. They are my everything. I would be nothing without Tom and the kids. So, even just simple things like, once a month we try and have a family date night where we go to a local restaurant. We use things like First Table, or Eat Club to get like a discount when it comes to the bill. Sometimes you can save like up to 20%, but just going somewhere local, not having to worry about like the stress of cooking and get everyone to sit down at the table, and people not complaining, when we can go to a restaurant and we can connect and have fun and laugh, and none of us have to worry about like cleaning up afterwards, especially me. Pablo, oh my god. Okay, Pablo does not come to the restaurant, just so you know, but just having that time together, and of course like doing like trips away. I don't feel guilty about that. Our family really need it. We really need to connect again, especially in such a busy, chaotic world. We're all so time poor, we're all distracted, we're all on like devices and screens all the time. Be able to set aside time, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be, a weekend away, whether it be a holiday somewhere. I don't feel guilty about that anymore, and in fact, it's a non-negotiable. So guilt doesn't even exist. Oh my god, never a dull day with this dog. All right, number 6. And this is time with my girlfriends. So my girlfriends are my oxygen. I can be feeling really unhinged, really emotional, maybe even frustrated and angry sometimes. But when I catch up with my girlfriends, whether it be going out to a restaurant or for a drink or going for a walk, like, I can breathe again. And I realize I'm not abnormal. They're all experiencing very similar things that I'm going through. And this is just a natural part of life. And, just being able to step away from my kids, step away from my home, my responsibilities, the dogs, and, just like have this downtime and even just a vent. I don't feel guilty about that anymore. I used to think, I had to always do it in this really budget-friendly way where we'd go for a walk or I'd have people over, we'd go to each other's homes. Now I really enjoy something about meeting my girlfriends in a restaurant. If I was to look back at myself, I'd probably be horrified that I would think like this, but at the end of the day, particularly my mum friends, we all need each other to get through and to survive and to also make ourselves feel heard and realize we're all really normal and also to have a good laugh. So there's something really sacred about having that place in say a restaurant or even a bar where you can arrive and you've got yourself glammed up and dressed up, and then you can sit down and relax, and other people come and serve you and other people clean up after you. And yes, you have to pay money, and sometimes I have to pay for a babysitter, but I don't feel guilty about this anymore. And I really love that we all really enjoy this experience together. It's like a beautiful bonding experience. All right, the 7th thing that I was going to share with you was actually, I was going to talk about flowers, but I've actually realized there's something else. But I feel like flowers still needs to be spoken about. So when I have flowers in the home, there's something that kind of magical that happens in the home. It just adds this whole other element, this whole other dimension to the home. It adds something like, I can't even put my finger on it, but there's just something so beautiful and glamorous and feminine about having some flowers in the home. But I also used to feel really guilty about doing this, that I should only ever have flowers for like a special occasion. If I'm having friends over, or if it's been my birthday, I'm not allowed to have flowers any other time. I mean, that is so ridiculous because the energy of flowers and it's an element of nature in your home is so important. However, to try and I guess find a really healthy balance with my being torn between two worlds when it comes to the guilt of buying flowers, what I love to do is buy potted flowers. Now, sometimes that can be succulents because they last a really long time. And sometimes it's actually, which is my absolute favorite, is a beautiful orchid. And for me, the orchid is like my favorite flower, and it's just so elegant, it's so delicate, it's so feminine, but also there's just like almost like a piece of art. So I try and just make sure I can afford it in a very responsible way. I'm obviously not buying myself flowers every week, but I really have learned to listen to my body and know that when I feel like I think we need some flowers in the home, or I need flowers in the home for me, I go and buy them in a responsible way. And also a massive shout out to like supermarket flowers. You can buy some really like financially friendly flowers, particularly when it comes to single stem flowers. Oh my gosh, what has he got in his mouth? One of the kids' ornaments. I better go and get that in a second. All right, what I was going to say to you instead of flowers, and this I think is much more important, and that is no longer feeling guilty for getting help. Again, a bit like the therapy, I used to feel so embarrassed and ashamed that I wasn't good enough that I had to pay for help, whether it be a babysitter, whether it be a nanny, whether it be getting a cleaner, or whether it be getting someone to like come in and do some handyman stuff around the home. I used to feel like really ashamed of that I wasn't able to do it myself, and I should be able to do it myself. And I think this probably comes from looking at the older generations, like our parents and our grandparents, that were very handy. My dad would mow the lawns, my mum did all the cleaning and cooking. But we live in a different world now. Like, we are time poor, we are busy. Most of us are all working our absolute backsides off just to keep food on the table and keep the bills paid. And we're trying to find some sense of like pleasure and joy and balance in our lives. So what I realized is, yes, there is no shame in needing help. It is actually probably shame in not asking for help when you genuinely need it. And we are forgetting about what we get back in our lives when we do ask for help. Because we get back time to have with our family, we get time to have with ourselves, we get time to be with loved ones. It means I can spend more time with Tom rather than trying to fix something whilst in the background. We can be far more present. The only benefit of having a Labrador that chews everything is he's really good for decluttering, FYI. Oh my god. And the other thing I think it's important to touch on is when you do get help, whatever the help may be, whether it be, getting someone to fix something in your home, whether it be getting someone to do a deep clean in your home, or getting like a babysitter or a nanny, you've got to remember that you're actually putting money back into the community. You are part of the important and very necessary flow of money, because that person can then use that money to do things in their life that they couldn't do necessarily without your help. And this is where I think the energy and flow of money is incredibly important to all of our well-being, not just financially, but energetically as well. All right, everyone, I had better go and get the remains of this ornament that Pablo has just chewed. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, let me know what you would like to hear more of, and I will see you next Sunday afternoon. Ciao for now.